So hello everybody, hope everybody's keeping well. So a councillor in Cavan there was on the local radio station there the other day, and he was talking about the government doing a campaign on basically people not picking up after the dog, basically dog shit on the ground and just basically leaving them there. People being irresponsible basically with their dogs, and he's saying the government should do a campaign, fund a campaign to spread awareness of this. Now, first of all, I don't mean to tell you how stupid it is. I won't name the councillor, but I'm sure he knows, and I know, and everybody and their mother knows that it's pointless talking to these people because they won't listen. They don't care. Some of them are just too lazy and not asked to lift it. And simple as that. And we just have to admit the obvious. Regardless, we could all the councillors in the county could literally stand their head, and they still wouldn't give a shit. Like, let's be fair, they don't care, and no pun intended. But he knows it. Like, there's the matter of signs and stuff like that, and there's even bins now in the majority of towns, especially for dogs, and free of charge, free bags and everything. And some people still would just not listen, regardless if we stood on our heads, they would not listen. So it's no point putting up signs saying €4,000 fine if you're caught not picking up after your dog. And then it takes about 9 to 10 years for it to go to court. And I'm not joking you. It actually takes donkey's years to go to court. It actually does. It takes donkey's years. I've seen cases of, like, it takes donkey's years to get all the evidence and everything collected and everything. I know in Leitrim, they are doing an example at the moment where they can take DNA samples of dogs and figure that out. We might accelerate the process of prosecuting people, maybe. So again, but it's only started in Leitrim. But we have to wait and see. But we all fine well and know, and I'm sure this council knows he's not an idiot now. He kind of knows people would and they won't really care what the government says. Basically, if they do an advertisement on the radio or on the TV, they're not going to give a thought. They're not even going to think about the people who don't pick up. The only way to get through to these people is if we shame them. First of all, if we have evidence of, we have video recording or whatever, put it up on social media, put it in the newspaper, show them up. People criticising them, only Joes in the street seeing them. Were you in the newspaper or you on social media and giving them a good telling off on the street could solve a problem too. Or if, again, heavy fines straight away, first thing you should put before you probably do that is fine them heavily. €4,000, €5,000 fine. Heavily fine them. Or the other option is make them go out and do about 100 hour community service and make them go up and clean around all the streets in that town or that area. Make them go and clean up all the litter, all the dog shit. Even though, again, you can get heavy diseases off. There's loads of diseases. I even pick up dog shit. Not because I'm on community service and stuff like that, but I do it because elderly people be walking on the streets. It's a public footpath. People are entitled to walk. It shouldn't be controlled by basically a few people who don't give a shit and don't care to look after the community and stuff. And it's not fair with people with disabilities, wheelchairs, etc., using that footpath. They don't have the ability to jump onto the road when they see a bit of dog shit. They have to go through it. There's many stories of Cavan Town of people with wheelchairs going through dog shit, and they have to push the wheels and the shit's getting onto their hand and stuff. And it's not fair. It's simply not fair, and it's not acceptable in a modern day society that people have to jump up and jump off footpaths and stuff. That people should be freely able to walk the footpaths without having to worry. Simple as that. And we shouldn't again, it's about the basic rule of law. It's the basic stuff. It's the really, really basic stuff. Whatever about robberies and stuff, it's stabbings and shootings. Right? This is the basic level. When you see a society breaking down, it's the small things. Is your community, people littering in your community and stuff like that. That's the small basic things. This is the small structure of society, the beginning structure of society. And when you see that fail, and you see that literally that rule of law breaking down, small civil law, local laws, basically the national laws, the extreme laws, will break down eventually too, because the justice system is just fucked. Let's just be totally honest. And I'm sure this council knows straight away that it's fucking pointless. You could put up advertisements that the cows come home, and you could put up billboards here, there, and everywhere, spend hundreds of thousands, you could spend $1 billion on it, and still people will not do it. The only way to get through to these people is harsh punishments. Fine them. Not put in prison them, maybe if once it's something extreme, but I would make them go out and do community service. Again, this is a thing that's plaguing our towns and our villages. And again, there has to be enforcement. Again, as simple as that is unfortunate. But we should encourage people, obviously, first of all. That should be the same as on Gallagher Connor. Encourage people to obey by the law, first of all. And if that doesn't work straight away, then fine and stuff like that. Obviously, encourage them. You can't just go around and just find people. If it's a once-off incident, then you can let it slide, maybe. But if it's every day of the week, like there's people every day of the week, I've heard of incidents every day. I've seen dogs, not probably, but I have seen dogs. I brought them to a few people and they basically told nothing can be done. and things like that, because it's too much effort to bring them up to court. The effort of it. That's basically what's been said. And it's simply not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And I say this to the guy, I won't name him, but I'm sure, hope he'd be watching this and he hear it. That you talk some common sense. Let's be fair now. I'm only trying to encourage you to do the right thing, and that's what we should be doing. Fining them heavy fines and community service, not going and asking the government for a campaign to deal with it and put advertisements and stuff like. You might as well talk to the wall at that stage. You might as well go and start talking to the wall. Like, that's not going to work. I would say to the councillor too, if the councillor would like to go out, or any of the councillors would like to go out and lift the dog shit too, instead of talking about it on the radio, which I wouldn't be keen to. I pick up dog shit and stuff like that. I'm the one doing the cabin as far as I'm aware, voluntary and stuff like that, because nobody else wants to do it, because again, the diseases, you're putting yourself at huge risk. And that's just putting it straight up, and I'm sure the councillors know that. And I don't run onto the radio every day of the week to say, oh, it's dog shit and stuff like that. But I go and do it. Simple as I see it, I go and do it. Simple as that. I don't talk about it. But I'm here talking about it now because the people who elect it should be going and doing it. It shouldn't be standing around talking to see if the weather can change, basically. They're waiting for the wind to blow. Go and do it. When you have the initiative, go and do it. Simple as that. And that's what I say to the councillors. You have the ability to do it. You're fit and physically able and fit to do it. You might have a suit on, but go and do it. And I say to that councillor too, if he went and done it now, I'd vote him in number one. Simple as that. If I seen evidence of him doing it, number one. Simple as that. I give him number one in the next election. Because he proved himself that he can do it. But that's just as simple as that. I'm sure people would agree that talking about it as the cows come home is going to do nothing is enforcement. Simple as that. It's, for years and years and years, that used to be the policy. Just talk about it and stand around and look at it. And do nothing. Say nothing, do nothing. Nowadays, straight away, do something. Don't stand there and talk and bullshit for hours and hours and end. Do something. Something, anything at all. Move. Do something. That should be our policy. Let me know what you think and subscribe for more. Bye.